For now, we are watching Atlanta taking on Austin in love. And my name's Ci Michel. I'll be your host right now, but also joined by the one and only Everett Delorme, who I feel as though most of the volleyball universe knows who you are, Everett.
Oh, maybe. Oh, I think I started right on screen there as we came live. But how's it going? I feel like you're giving me a little too much credit there. Depending where you are in the world and what kind of volleyball you listen to, you may or may not know who I am. But appreciate you having me on, Key. I'm stoked to watch some League One.
You're being humble. Everybody knows you. And if they don't, get to know them right now. So you are literally the Watchalong king. I'm just gonna give you that title right now. Put that
Oh,
crown right on your head. I've done this exactly twice in my life. How many times have you done Watchalongs?
it's been a few times now. I mean, I think I started doing watch-alongs like 2016, 2017 type vibes. Back in the day when like there was no one watching volleyball on YouTube, I could just stream FIVB matches straight to YouTube and no one was really watching me. And then they started to crack down on that. Like I would have like literally the game streaming with me in the corner, so you could watch the game and have me on. But
Do you have
yeah,
a rough
we've had
estimate
a
of how many times you've done this then? 100?
100 or so maybe.
That's
Yeah.
that's enough to earn the crown. In the volleyball world especially. I don't know about any other sports, but we don't do that a whole lot around here. But we're doing it today. So I think we should just start by giving us a little background on these two teams that we're going to see. How much have you watched of Love, and what do you know of these two teams so far?
Honestly, not that much. It wasn't until we were starting to do this watch along that I realized that I could actually watch it on YouTube because I'm in Canada, so we don't have it
Yeah,
on USA Network or on Hulu or anything, but it's actually free to watch on YouTube, which is
that's
benefits
awesome.
of being outside of the US for one of those things. But I've definitely been following along, especially with my Canadian girls. We've got Bree O'Reilly playing for Austin tonight. Of course, Alexa Gray has been crushing it
Yeah.
recently for Salt Lake. Shout out to Vicky Savard playing for Nebraska. And I know we got a few other girls playing in the league. But compared to last year, where I was really, really locked into League One, I've been slacking a little. I won't lie. I've been slacking a little, but I'm excited to get back into this. How about you? How locked in have you been to League One so far this year? I feel
I've been
like you're
so
you're
locked
pretty
in.
locked in. Yeah.
I can't not be locked in, to be fair, because I've been calling a lot of the matches. I think I've called like maybe 6, 7 matches by now, and I've got another one this weekend. Um, so I'm pretty locked in, much more so than I was last year. But these two teams in particular, Austin's been doing pretty well. I don't know if we have the standings, Danny, but from what I understand, Austin is the first. Let me look that up before I say it.
No, Austin's in second. Salt Lake's in
Okay,
first.
thank you.
Yeah.
Austin's in
I
second, Salt Lake's in first, but Atlanta down at the
Atlanta
bottom.
is currently in last. So I think Austin has a record of 3-3 so far. Salt Lake's in first at 4-1, or 5-1, and then Atlanta is currently in last at 1-4. But it's a little surprising because when you look at some of the stats, there are some of the league leaders in a few different categories. So I think that just kind of shows how close this league actually is. And I mean, if we remember back to last year, Austin was ranked for fifth or sixth going into the playoffs, and they ended
Hmm.
up winning it all, right? So it really these early games are all just to test each other out.
Yeah. I know I had made a video about Atlanta being one of my teams to watch because they had actually finished the league first last season, but then they kind of choked in the playoffs, and that's why they didn't end up in the final match. But one of the things that is majorly missing, and maybe you can discuss this with me a little bit, is Kelsey Robinson Cook is no longer with this team, and that how big of a
Yeah.
difference does that make?
I think that's a huge difference. I mean, Kelsey Robinson Cook is a player who's won Olympics, has played at the highest level in Europe. She's won the Champions League. She's won Scudettos in Italy. Has played in that Conegliano system under Santarelli, which is, hands down the best volleyball team in the world. Although they've been a little shaky this year with only one trophy out of three. And she is just really was one of the anchors for this Atlanta team all throughout the year. And of course, if you're unaware of social media, she is pregnant with, I guess, her first child.
Yes.
And, we wish her the best of luck. But, Mackenzie Adams is someone who's been around the game so much, has played in Europe for so many years now. And I thought she was really one of the standouts for me for Atlanta last year. But then you're also bringing in a rookie with Ava Hudson. And, you know, Eva Hudson is someone that I got to watch a little bit of in the NCAA over the past few years, and I've been pretty impressed with her so far. But still, having to step in as a rookie, I think it's a big jump stepping in from the NCAA to League One volleyball right off in the bat, out of the gate in your first year.
Yeah, and she actually didn't have that much playing time, I feel like, so far. We've only seen her kind of come in and out. And when she has been in, she hasn't been the player that you're talking about, the one that we saw from college. So I'm really excited to see her grow a little bit in the league, exactly like you mentioned. I think it's a little bit of a step for her. Also, she had maybe like a week of rest going from the NCAA final match
Yeah,
straight into playing pro. She didn't have that much time to train with this team. Plus, just like the rest on your butt, right on time. Speaking of
yeah.
pregnancies in the league, 4 women pregnant at the same time. Danny Drews, I just found that out, by the way. I called one of her matches, the Salt Lake match, and I didn't know she was pregnant yet. And I kept being like, I wonder why she's not playing. Danny Drews, Annie Drews, Justine Wong-Arantes, and Kelsey Robinson Cook. And Love is one of the few leagues that actually kind of supports those athletes. I don't think they get their contracts cut just because they're pregnant, which is amazing.
Oh, that is actually a great thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's such a great precedent for women getting pregnant and then coming back and dominating with Carrie Walsh Jennings and how many times she was able to do it and come back and win literal Olympic medals,
Yeah.
right? Carrie Walsh Jennings has 3 gold medals and one's bronze and is like 29-1 all time at the Olympics. And she did it while being able to have kids and have a family. So you already have that role model right there. So it shows just how accessible that is for other women, especially volleyball players.
Yeah, and who is it? Allison Felix, I feel like, is the sprinter that got cut by Nike. And then so she went back and like
Yes.
won an Olympics or won a world champs or something and then like created her own shoe. What a baller move.
That is a baller move. That
I
is
love that.
that's unreal.
Yeah. We should take note. I feel like we haven't really watched the match. Okay, so if anyone is watching and they want to
Ooh.
sync up with us, Austin has 14, Atlanta has 11. And there's a free ball from Hudson. And there's Skinner with the tip off the block. I
Oh,
mentioned this to you momentarily before we went live, but Skinner, so impressive. But I feel like she goes in and out. There are some sets where you just don't see her at all. And some sets she scores 10 points.
yeah. I think we've kind of we saw that with her last year as well, playing for this Austin team. We saw it with her throughout the summer in the VNL and in the World Championships. Is that she just doesn't necessarily has that mental strength just yet of having to be able to carry a team and that load. I think it's maybe a little bit easier in the NCAA, whereas here in League One and internationally, teams are going to adjust on you very, very quickly. So that's the one thing that I really kind of determined between her and her sister. I mean, we got to watch Avery today play in an absolutely incredible 5-setter. You were calling it key in the CEV Champions League. And that's the one thing I've been the most impressed with watching Avery in Chieri for the past few years and now with Scandici this year is just her ability to be mentally tough at that level. And of course, Madison, a little bit younger, still working through that process a little bit.
What do you think about the choice to stay in the USA versus going pro? Because I'm sure Avery would have had options to play in Love if she had wanted to, and vice versa.
Oh yeah.
Madison would have had offers overseas.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's an interesting one because I think last year we saw more girls stay in the US. And this is just me personally speaking, and I think it's really tough because you're balancing the growth of the league as like Maddie just crushes one cross court there in transition. What a
Oh,
dig there. But Zoe Jarvis started this game a little wonky, but she's really caught it up. Like there's the first 4 points for Atlanta. You could have like pegged 3 of them on Jarvis. And then she's really picking it up there. But yeah, I think it's tough because you want to balance the growth of the league and then the growth of the players too. Because if you get those opportunities to play